Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to Mildly Interesting, the place that, well, as it says, I say it every time for photos that are, mildly interesting. It doesn't get too much more complicated than that. But we can always just hope that all of these images just tickle your fancy and just you go, I guess that is mildly interesting. But anyway, let's jump straight into it, shall we? So then, starting right off with off-center pupil I've had since birth. I'm sure this person would have got it checked out, but I almost feel as though it's something that you just have to get checked out again because there is no way that that can kind of function correctly, Surely as the iris contracts and expands, that it's just not going to function how it should be doing. Because, if you have a circle inside an oval, this side is definitely going to hit the side way before this, and so this eye, I would imagine, isn't going to be able to open up all the way. I mean, I don't know if that's a bad thing, or I don't even know that's true, but in terms of you take the center point and just expand it out from there, I feel as though it's not going to be able to expand as much as it needs to. And I mean, now I'm just curious about if this is both eyes. I mean, I can only imagine if it was both eyes, it would have been included in the photo. And so does that cause more problems? If it actually did affect it, then you'd basically just have completely different eyes. And even though they obviously said that happened since birth, it would kind of just be a completely different thing for the brain to kind of figure out. But no, yeah, I wonder when you were born if the doctor was like, oh my goodness, what the hell's going on here? I mean, I guess a lot of babies don't really open their eyes immediately, so maybe it was just a little bit more of a surprise for your parents when you finally open your eyes, but still, at first glance, you'd be going, hang on, is there something a little bit wrong there? I feel as though there's something wrong there. And then you actually get to lean in and you go, hang on a minute, the entire eye is just off-center. Really, looking at it, almost just looks like a bad Photoshop, or almost as though there's just a spot on the lens. That's not actually the pupil is just behind that spot on the lens. But no, it is definitely mildly interesting, and now I'm just wondering about how many people actually have this kind of, I don't know what to call it, besides condition, or, statistically, how many people are born with this thing, because I certainly have never seen or heard about anything like this before. I mean, I'm sure you're not the only one in the entire world with something like this, but I can only imagine that it's a very, very rare thing, like people having purple eyes and all those kind of just random kind of genetic mutations. Mutations that generally don't affect the function of everything, but definitely do change the appearance of all these things, just like this one. So I guess good on you, Yumin, you definitely are mildly interesting to look at. The way my windscreen froze. Whoa, that looks like some glacier or just massive mountains, or even getting some like tree vibes up here. That is incredible. I have never seen an ice formation like this. That is absolutely remarkable, just the amount of detail in it. Like, look at all the crystalline structure in here, and then how smooth it is over here. It's obviously incredible and mildly interesting that something like that, but it's also just beautiful. Really, looking at it, I'm kind of getting Bob Ross vibes from the entire thing. Just the way that the texture and the depth of things so effortlessly created in this image, it really just does remind me of the way that Bob Ross just kind of whips up things out of nowhere. I mean, like I always say, I'm going to have to call upon the cold weather connoisseurs, because I don't know if this is kind of a semi-regular occurrence, or maybe not exactly to this extent, but just all these patterns just forming over windscreens, because I certainly have never seen anything like this. But then again, considering there's so many upvotes on this sub, I can only imagine that a lot of people haven't seen it before. So yeah, let me know down below if you've seen anything like this before, but it is honestly remarkable. I just can't get over this formation especially. Really, it's just got me wondering how the hell something like that even forms in the beginning, I mean, I can only imagine that things like this has been formed by semi-running water, but I have no idea how this entire kind of crystalline structure, or even kind of the trees up here have been formed. To me, it really does look as though someone has come along with maybe like an eyedropper and just slowly just crafted this magnificent painting out of ice. You drop a little bit over here and you wait for it to freeze, and then you drop a little bit over here and you wait for it to freeze, and then you've already put a base layer of this stuff over here, and it just all comes together, and that's how you get all the depth. Not that this was actually just created overnight. I mean, that is just unbelievable to me. Really, for this only being the second post, I'm absolutely blown away by this. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel as though this is more than mildly interesting. It is just, as I said, just beautiful, but also just an incredible display of nature. Saw this awesome Metallica plate on the freeway today. Oh, that's just honestly awesome. I'm surprised I haven't seen something like this before. I mean, I can only imagine it, considering it is California, that someone probably did already have the Metallica plate. There's a lot of people living in California, and I can only imagine there was a lot of cars. So hey, it makes perfect sense. If you were a massive Metallica fan, but you just weren't the first in best dressed, then really, this is just the best option from there. And also, you kind of get these massive exaggerated letters that the Metallica logo actually has. So I know, even though it probably would be cool to actually have the Metallica plate, at the same time, I feel as though that has actually been done way better than if you just kind of had standard Metallica letters. Thinking about it though, unless you actually own a plasma cutter, I can only imagine you had to take this to somewhere and you just have to give them the design, and they go, hang on, what is this for? A license plate? But then you go, no, don't worry, I have the ETALLIC. And then they go, oh, okay, they're finally sealing the card, and it just makes so much sense for them. I mean, it would have been an absolute pain to kind of clean up all these areas after the plasma cutter, but that's an entirely different story. But I'm surprised that I haven't seen things like this before. It doesn't have to be Metallica, it could be anything. There are so many different brands and logos out there, and then you're going, okay, well, I guess I can't get the real one, but then to do that, it just makes so much sense. Honestly, I feel as though in a couple of years, we're just going to look back on this post and go, man, this person was a trendsetter. We're just seeing this on every second post on mildly interesting and all these different kind of subs. You're not going to be able to drive anywhere without seeing, I don't know what to call it, but a license plate frame. I reckon this is the beginning of something way bigger than anything they expected, and really, for that alone, it's got to be considered mildly interesting, let alone the fact about what it actually is. So yeah, nice work, person. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have expected this kind of plate to be on a Volvo of all cars. And hey, that'd be judging a book by its cover, and really, anyone that is thinking that's outside the box, where they actually think about, how can I get their Metallica logo on my car, they must just be an absolute big brand. And so really, we can only have the honor of having their presence on mildly interesting. The local blood bank have these signs to show you how much blood they have. That is actually pretty awesome. What have we got? Got A negative, AB negative, B negative, O negative, B positive. I imagine that's O positive. And then I have no idea. Oh, that must be all. So that is the overall kind of levels. And then you have all of these different types here. Honestly, just props to the person or the people that thought this up, because that is such a perfect visual reminder. You know, people are walking past, they're going, oh yeah, I guess I'll do that one day, or you know, I guess it might be on my bucket list to donate blood or something, but I don't have time right now. But then, you know, that same person happens to have, let's say, A negative blood, and they're walking past and go, oh geez, you know, it is getting low. Maybe I should actually put that as a priority. I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to book in. I'm just going to do it. And so I feel as though, as well as being just kind of an awesome little display about what the hell is going on inside there, it is also, and obviously that's what it's been designed for in the first place, but it is just such a good kind of thought provoker for all the people that actually might be considering or even not considering. You know, a lot of people might be put off the thought about giving blood, and I guess it's understandable, but also I'm sure there's an entire kind of group of people that are just going, oh, you know, so I'm sure someone else would do it. But then really, when you see that it is actually this, you go, oh geez, you know, it is actually getting a little bit low, so maybe I do actually have to kind of step up to the plate. So yeah, I'd love to know where this place is. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm kind of almost getting Australia vibes. I don't know why that is. Just something about the overall kind of, I don't know what to call it, but just environment that it's in. I don't know. It's kind of just like a sixth sense that is telling me that it is. I'm sure it's not, but hey, just let me believe what I want to believe. But no, I'd love to know where it is, because it is such a great idea, and fitters are all they need now is just to have a big sign up here saying free snacks inside, or just something along the lines of, hey, do you know you get free chips or free chocolate at the end, you know, just something to really drive home the appeal of donating blood. You know, you got the selfless signs down here, and then you could have just a selfish sign up here for all the people that just might be thinking with their stomach instead. Oh my goodness, I had to check the comments, and here we go. What city is this? Here we go. Is that the original poster? Yep, I did not even see the username, and then there we go. Look, Melbourne, Australia. I don't know what it is about it. I feel as I just have, like I said, just a sixth sense of this kind of stuff, but just like I've had before with the trampoline and the tree, there is always just something about the image or whatever it may be that I can just tell when it is. Found an edgefish in my bag of goldfish. I cannot believe it. Whoa, now here we go. That is definitely mildly interesting. The fact that someone like that could even get through in the first place, because I would have thought that anything that ends up in the bag would have gone through some kind of sieve process, or even just, you know, I don't know, scanning or whatever it may be, just to make sure that things like this don't happen, or just kind of, you know, non-fish shapes end up there. So yeah, to end up with such a massive piece like this is honestly incredible. And also, I feel as though if you'd asked me how they were made, I certainly would have said that they were kind of chopped out from the larger sheet. I mean, I guess it makes sense, you know, you got a massive volume, you just kind of recycle it or just chuck it out, who knows. They obviously would have spent millions of dollars trying to figure out how they can get them to perfectly tessellate, just waste a minimal product that they actually behind. But really, I guess at the same time, no sheet is going to be infinitely wide, so you're always going to have an edge piece like we can see here. And hey, I guess almost like entropy or something like that, or even just if it can, it will, you know, after a while or eventually, if you make enough of these things, you're definitely going to end up with just a couple things slipping through. No matter how good your processors are or how much money you spend on the mechatronics of the thing, someone like this guy is always going to end up with just a nice, just solid piece of goldfish right there. Now I'm just curious about if it tasted the same or not, because, you know, if you're not eating a goldfish, does it even taste like a goldfish? Or even just the fact that you're getting this massive chunk, you know, we can see that there's 4 goldfish in a row. And so even though I certainly don't know anyone that eats 1 goldfish at a time, you know, just having it as one big block, does it make a difference? Really, I just wish I could have seen your reaction when you pulled that thing out of the bag, because it would have been such a kind of weird thing, you know, you're used to pulling out all the goldfish, and then all of a sudden you just have this big block, and I guess there's 2 goldfish attached to it, but at the same time you're just going, what is this thing? What have I just pulled out? Then it's over for a second, it'll kind of be a does not compute kind of moment where your brain just kind of goes, what am I pulling out? I've never seen anything like this before. But this is definitely one where you kind of have to say out loud, huh, I guess that is mildly interesting. In my COVID vacant office, it's been this woman's birthday for over a year. I mean, hey, just keep the party going. Who needs to worry about it stopping? She just has to constantly be the age that she was turning when it actually originally started. Just every year, everyone in the office has to pick up a party. Hey, you know, it can be a round robin, or maybe everyone is assigned one, you know, like, don't you take the green one or gold one or whatever you want to call this, that is mine. But no, I guess it makes sense, you know, I'm sure this isn't the only case worldwide of this happening, because if she's been working from home for over a year, then she certainly wouldn't be going, oh, I just wish we could get rid of these party hats and this happy birthday from above my head. And then I guess for the couple of you that would actually be going into the office, you're just going, oh, I'm not bothered to take that down, that's not my desk. I mean, I might have put it up in the first place, but I'm not taking it down, that'd just be rude. And also, if she ever does come back to work, you can just say that you were being efficient, you know, you didn't want to have to set it up again. I mean, you might have to get it to restart on her birthday for it to make any sense, but like I said, you're just being efficient. No one wants to be wasting the time about taking it down and then putting it back up. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I guess that's exactly what this sub is kind of for, you know, just these little kind of random posts that we get out of nowhere. They've gone, hang on a minute, we've wished her happy birthday last week, but this sign is actually up from last year. It really is about all the little things to just make you go, huh, my dose was the last of the bottle, so the pharmacist let me keep it as a souvenir. Well then, I guess exactly like I just said, you know, it just makes you go, huh, this must happen all the time to the last person that gets, obviously, like it says, 10 doses, you know, so every 10th person could get this opportunity. I mean, maybe a whole bunch of people are actually walking out of there with it, or maybe you just actually went, hang on, can I actually keep it? And they went, well, I guess I've never been asked that before, but yeah, sure, go for it. And really, I don't know if it's just me, but I find it kind of mildly interesting that they actually have multiple dose vials, you know. In my mind, for some reason, every single little one comes in its own unique kind of vial and whatnot. And so to see something like a multiple dose vial, just it kind of doesn't compute to me. I mean, hey, it makes perfect sense. You know, you're cutting down on glass and plastic and all those things, and it's easy to transport and you don't have to package it. But I think I'm thinking that because so many things in the medical industry are just individually wrapped in individual package, you know, because let's be honest, they can't afford to have any kind of cross-contamination. I mean, hey, you're certainly not going to have any issues providing evidence and proof that you actually got the thing, you know, as well as the fact that, like I said, I can't imagine that many people have this thing. There really isn't too many ways that someone could go about getting one of these. So if anyone was ever questioning it, going, oh, I need this, you know, kind of like when you have to provide all these different methods of ID, you just go, look, I've got the doctor's certificate, it, and I've also got the vial that it came in, so there is no two ways about it. I have definitely got it, and I'm sure that would dismiss any of the doubts that this person was bringing up. So yeah, as well as being mildly interesting, that you just have, I would imagine, kind of a rare thing. At the same time, in some circumstances, it might even just be a helpful thing to have on you. Dropped my headphone at the beach and put iron out of the sand. What the hell kind of beach are you going to that has that much iron in it? I mean, I get there's a little bit of sand on the earbud. What the hell? Has someone just left an I-beam there to just kind of disintegrate over time? Or why is there that much iron in your sand? I mean, I guess maybe I have to think a little bit more internationally, but there is nowhere in Australia that I can imagine that there is that much iron just kind of hanging out in the sand. You know, if you dropped your headphone in the sand in Australia, you might end up with a very, very sandy, kind of to that extent sandy headphone, but there would certainly be no way that you'd be ending up with an entire mound of iron. And also, even though I did joke about someone putting an I-beam in the sand, I have no idea how this would actually be a formation. You know, is it next to a volcano? Is it next to, I don't even know where, but it's some kind of iron deposit? Or was it actually not too far from the truth that some kind of boat has been rusted away there? Or like, just how the hell is there that much iron in the sand? I mean, it certainly makes sense why the headphone can collect all that iron in the first place, because if you don't know, the majority of weight in a speaker is actually the driver, and that is basically just a magnet. And so it makes sense why the headphone can collect iron in the first place. I mean, that is definitely a decent amount of iron, so that is no kind of joke of a magnet in there, but I just can't get over the fact that there is that much iron in your sand. I mean, yeah, I can see in the background that it certainly isn't a golden sandy beach, but really I've seen in places like New Zealand, and that's why I mentioned the volcano, that they have completely black beaches, and so beaches definitely aren't just limited to golden sandy beaches. But really, I feel as though if you have that much iron in your sand, I don't know if you could really call it a beach. You're just kind of more living on an iron rock or something like that. And so now finally, for the top of the month for mildly interesting, we have my bank sent me 64 copies of the same debit card. Oh my goodness, look at them all. What the hell is going on here? That seems like a tremendous stuff up, but I don't even understand really how that would happen. I mean, obviously this has been a little bit of a glitch, whether someone actually put in the wrong number, or maybe, and actually probably more likely, it was actually just a computer glitch. I mean, also considered it was 64, but really, how the hell is that even a thing that it knows how to do? You know, why the hell is anyone ever going to need 64 cards? I mean, I'm sure there is a couple of cases out there where massive corporations need some kind of distributed business card, but really, let's be honest, at that level, you're dealing directly with a person that basically just does everything for you. And so yeah, just look at them all. I wish we knew if it is exactly the same card. You know, obviously we can see it starts with the 406, but then they've blanked out the numbers here, and it makes sense why. But I'm wondering if every single card has the exact same number, or if they're actually like sequential, because that would kind of be a cool thing as well. You know, I have what, 64 sequential cards, but no, I can only imagine the kind of confusion this would ensue you, because you're just going, what the hell? Why do these letters keep coming? Or what the hell do I even order where I need to get 64 letters in a day? And I don't know if it's on everywhere in the world, but in Australia we get sent a separate letter that has a pin code and everything, just to keep the document separate so the whole thing can't be stolen at once. And so if that's the case for this person, then you better strap yourself in, because you're about to get 64 more letters with 64 more pin codes in them. Really, after that, you're just going to have a complete monopoly on your own card. So yeah, exactly like I said, just little things like this that obviously don't really affect your life. I don't know if you just pick one and activate one, or you kind of let the bank know and they send you another one, then you have 65 cards, who knows? But this sub is definitely made for all the little things like this, and so yeah, well done on your mildly interesting post. As confusing as it would have been to receive all these cards, at least you definitely did get a card. You're not still waiting on a card and you're going, well, I guess I can't do anything till I get it. But anyway, that is going to do it for the top of the month for mildly interesting, so thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to do the YouTube and local things down below and let me know if you had a favorite post out of any of these. Other than that, we check out awesome posts all over Reddit, so make sure you check some of the other videos out now, or maybe even want to consider subscribing so you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.